Hey boss, Chad Hedrick here with Roof Coating Life, coming at you with another roof coating tip.
All right guys, on this setup, the hose that came with the machine is just a little short to make it very easy. So just to make it of ease of use, we just take the lid off the barrel. This is just the siphon hose, and this is also the recirc hose. So when we fire the pump up here in a second, we'll actually pump into the machine and then we'll recirculate it out of here until we get all the air out of the pump. And then, like I said, typically in the summer and everything else, we just lay the lid back on it to where we don't have any direct sunlight hitting the coatings and cause it to skim over.
Fire up.
You know what? I started to say, did you turn the fuel on? It helps if it's on. Edit. It's amazing what happens when it has fuel. All right guys, this is the prime valve. So what this does is this actually takes it from the hose and actually puts it back into here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on prime. This turns on the hydraulic pump, so that's what starts the pump doing the pumping action. And we'll force it back in there to get all that air out of the line I talked about. As you can see, it's already sucked it into the hose. It's about made it down to the pump. There she goes. You'll start seeing bubbles. That's where it's blowing back. It's actually circulating the water out. Though we had a little bit of water in there. There it goes. You can see it starting to blow, and I can feel it coming out of the line. Hey guys, another thing on the job site, when you're lining things up or staging, a big thing is when you lay out your hose, you want to make dang sure that you get quite a bit of the hose out and have it literally laid out. You want to have it out here, you know, where it's basically in a straight line as much as you can to where you don't have a whole bunch of kinks. Because when you go to pull these hoses up, the last thing you want is this thing to kink. This is a high pressure hose, so we don't want to do any kinking in these hoses that down the road could cause basically an issue for where pressure could blow out, or we could have a hole blow from that kink, because there's a lining inside these, and if you kink that, you make a weak spot. So we want to make sure we keep our lines out straight, and then when we go to pull it up the building, we've got a couple other things that we'll show you that we do to keep the building safe and keep you out of any liabilities on the job. All right guys, we're going to talk about when we go to set up a job site, there's a couple key things, just small little things at the beginning of the job site to make sure things go the way you want it to and not have an issue before you go. One of them is as simple as this. You may have a wand on here, you may not. A lot of guys take the wand up separately so they don't have the issue of it swinging and hitting a window. But when you run your rope, you want to make sure that when you go to tie this thing on, that you actually run it behind the handle. And you also want to make sure, if you see here on the gun, there is a handle lock. You want to make sure that lock, see now this will squeeze. You want to make sure that is there. That is a trigger lock. So your gun can't squeeze the trigger. That's one step of safety you can do. The second is when you actually run it, we always lap it around 1 or 2 times around the gun behind that trigger, and then we will make sure we have enough loose here. I'll have to loosen mine up a little bit here. And so then we'll run it around here enough, and then we'll actually, when we tie it, you just want to make sure when you tie it, you are tied basically back here behind this hook. That way, anytime you're pulling away from the trigger, away from the handle, and you're not putting any undue pressure on any of these joints or anything else that could cause an issue. So once you have that and you do basically just a simple double knot on it, that way you know when you're pulling this gun up, it's going to pull straight up the side of the building. A person can hold it out that's attached on, and that way they don't have to worry about pulling that trigger and causing an issue with it to spray all the side of a building. All right guys, when you're going to pull this hose up, you're going to have one guy, as you can see here, standing back, and the other guy up on the roof. And as he pulls that wand up with the rope, you're going to keep that gun away from the side of the building to where you don't have to worry about if it spins or swings, that the wand doesn't hit a window or scrapes up the side of the building and causes any damage to the side of a building that you're going to have to be liable for. So by pulling this up, keeping a little bit of pressure on the hose, keeps it away from the building and allows you to get the gun and the wand and everything else on the roof and be able to do what you need to do.
Thanks for watching. Use these tips to live the roof coating life like a boss.